Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Tuesday. Tuesday's request day. Today's map is by a creator we have done twice in the past and has requested this map to be reviewed. The last time we had a look at one of their maps was Monday of last week, just 8 days ago. You'll almost certainly remember it. It was, being a Monday, the top performing map of the moment, and it was the island map. When I say the island map, it was a map with 4 islands on it, and each island was about the size of a postage stamp. It was tiny. Weeny weeny tiny weeny. Now today's map in some ways has a lot in common with that map. Clearly there's a lot more land on today's map than that tiny weeny little island map, Hinny Islands, but there's definitely something in common. Now if you're looking for a desert map, you're looking in the right place. If you're looking for the like button, you're looking in the wrong place. But if you find it, if you click it, that would be very helpful indeed. Thank you very much for all of your ongoing support. Right, today's map is Orheb Oasis, No Next To by Rev Official. Now the loading screen thumbnail is very lush and green. I think you can make out that is not the case with most of the map. The start square looks like that. You've got a wobbly intersection at the bottom there, and you've got a roundabout coming out of the tunnel at the top. The terrain heights are relatively flat. There is some undulation, but it's not too hilly. The resources are very light indeed. This one's just about building a city, I feel. And then if you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, it's not really a big fishing map either, but that's fine, doesn't have to be. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, no network extensions too, so this is obviously a second variety of the map. We'll be using the temperate 4K coast theme and the photorealistic LUT by Reaper as well. We've got a few trees to subscribe to too. So anyway, yeah, we're 100% vanilla roads, no mass transit required or anything like that. It is just your 3-lane highways and your highway ramps, and we are good to go. Now what do I mean by it's very similar to that previous island map? Well, I'm going to say the answer is it doesn't really feel like there's much room to build, and it's ridiculous. It's there's a lot of land here, but it just doesn't feel like most of it is just empty. I think that's probably what it's got in common. With the Hinny Islands, most of the map was just empty, i.e. ocean. Here we've got ocean and a lot of very empty desert. Now, we have seen many desert maps, and some of them have been awful. Some of them have been awful. This is not an awful desert map, don't get me wrong. Right? But we have seen some excellent desert maps where the desert is actually teeming with life. There's shrubs, there's rocks, there's undulation and shape. The desert on this map just doesn't have any of that. Now I'm going to do a little bit of work, just a little bit, on the second half of today's show, so do stick around for that, and I'm going to try and add a little bit of a dimension to this map, if I can, in a few seconds, in a few strokes of the brush. The highways here lose the terrain alignment because we're building on the side of a hill, building on the side of a hill here, and so from a distance you can actually make out Blue Mantle there. Now I think somewhere around here there might be a tree or some shrub on the road. I can't remember where. If you can see it, then you're a better man than me, Bungadin. Oh blimey, my English is gone. Mind, although Gungadin I guess was not English, but hey. Yes, yeah, foliage under the road there showing through because of anarchy. Then we have this is your start square intersection, and actually I quite like this. Okay, I quite like this. There's going to be those of you that say, oh, it's not super efficient or whatever. It's fine. I'm okay with this one. I don't feel this is going to be a big city build at all. Is that gantry actually on the highway? I just noticed and we've got a pillar on the highway as well. No, take that video back a few moments. I've only just noticed that one, that the gantry was actually on the highway exit ramp. Not often we get to see that one, but yeah, well done. Points for that. Now, we have got sand dunes, and we've got a tunnel going into the sand dunes. Now, sand dunes shift, and I don't really buy into these tunnels at all. I would want them to be deeper into a groove that would make it more believable that they were actually being tunneled into the landscape. The land itself, there's your roundabout down by the water, by the oasis. I'm guessing that's the Orheb Oasis. And yeah, the roundabout. I don't mind that it's a highway. It's fine, it will do. But yes, this tunnel here, I think the tunnel entrance needs to be more chiseled into the ground. We have rail. The rail does dip down into the terrain. There's no transition there. It just literally just emerges suddenly. And then that goes under the ground right off to the edge of the map. So anyway, come back for the second half of the show. We'll check the shipping and the water, and I'll do a little bit of terrain work as well, just to try and bring a little bit of life into the map here and there. And will this possibly get more than the 9 stars that previously has been the part of the course with Rev Officials maps? Come back after this message. Are you a fan of the show? Well, I guess if you're watching this, you really must be. And as you've made it through 1,000 reviews, it's time to really treat yourself. To emblazon yourself with all 1,000 thumbnails in one great garment. From the makers of WhatMap, it's the official WhatMap 1000 t-shirt. Get yours now. That t-shirt is now 20% larger. 1,200 videos. Anyway, yeah, no, let's carry on. Shipping routes, Orheb Oasis, no next to by Rev Official. That's absolutely fine. We have an air route that crisscrosses the map as well, which is fine. And the shipping route is absolutely fine. There's nothing really that could have been done better. It's fine. Water flow. Our access to water is just this oasis. So you're probably going to want to play with custom assets, or I think it's Green Cities that gave us more inland pumping facilities or something. But yes, be careful, because you will be poisoning your sieves if you decide to deposit your sewage into there. Right, so overall it's a map which is basically a coastline with some foliage on it, a highway with some foliage on it, and an oasis with some foliage around it. In terms of the foliage, I'm liking the choices of the foliage, and where we have foliage, it looks really very nice indeed. The trees are right on top of each other though. If you have a look at the trees here, we have a palm tree within inches. They're sharing that soil. They're going to be drawing the same water source as well from down there. Down here we've got 3, 4 right on top of each other. So I think probably just a little bit of spreading of the trees just to make them... I mean, I like the clustering. The clustering really does add impact. So aesthetically, it's nice. Realism, I'm happy to be proven wrong by everybody now uploading pictures to Imgur and posting the links into the comments, but there we are. I did say we'd probably do some work with this. Let's get this chiseled into the terrain a little bit more. Again, these are... This is sand dune, so I feel that a tunnel won't. A tunnel isn't dug through sand; it's dug through the ground, through the earth, through the soil, through rock maybe. Let me just drop this one down. This is a very quick fix and slightly bodged fix as well, for that matter. But let's see if we can't do something. Let's get the underground view, and we still need to move it. So select that and that. I'm just going to drop these down. Ideally, I'd probably have these running parallel with each other rather than going off in angles, but I want to keep that aesthetic there because it's obviously Rev's plan to have that kind of aesthetic. But yeah, I feel something like that. I'd still do a little bit more work to it than that, because it just looked like the sand would just pour over and into that. But I think something like that is more believable to be a tunnel than what we had before. Now, we've got... what else have we got going on? We've got a coastline over here with... the hills. The hills over here. We actually have some textured hills. If you have a look at the textured hills here, we have, as soon as it goes cliff, we have a rocky cliff texture underneath, which says to me these aren't sand dunes. We've just got a dusting of sand over this area here. And I think it's a really awkward theme to work with to produce sand dunes. Now have a look at these sand dunes that we've got over here. They're virtually, they're spherical. They're just pretty much circles in the ground, circles and ovals. And I don't feel that that is realistic, given sand doesn't really form that. Normally forms waves, doesn't it, sand? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the terrain editor. And let's just realised at this point I am actually elevating the terrain. So what we'll probably do is I'm going to drop the terrain. Let me find a lower point. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. Let's drop the terrain down to the sensible level. So we've got a relatively flat surface to work with. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to paint a wavy line. Again, this is just you know what? I've never made sand dunes before, so this is a first for me. Let's see how it works out. Oh, we're gonna need a bigger brush. Gonna need a bigger brush. How's that working? That'll do. That will do absolutely fine. So I'm going to just do a wavy line. I'll do a little break in the wavy line, and we'll have maybe a second wavy line here. Again, I would spend a lot more time doing this one if I was building a map myself. This is just a quick fix in real time, so to speak. And then I'm going to do a slope. Biggest brush that we've got. I'm going to do a slope so that the sand can build up to that level. And up to there. And again, up to about here. Choose that height there. And we'll just do this. Choose that height there. Problem is, I don't think it's really going to show up anyway, because the sand texture is very, very bland. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think what we'll do is I'm just going to edge in to add a bit more shape to these dunes where the wind can push in. And so I think already these sand dunes look a lot more believable than what we had previously, which was just like little circles. Let me switch the lines. See, switching the lines of terrain off, you can't really make these out at all, which is where I think that shrubs and rocks would be best used to actually add a little bit of detail. Desert style shrubs, obviously. But yeah, for me, I think that looks far more like a sand dune than what we had previously. Okay, right, let's head back to the start square area. Switch the lines of terrain off. And we have an asset today which, unfortunately, is unfinished. We'll have to come back a little bit later and check it out once it is done. I want to say it's unfinished. Of course, it's finished. It's the office construction siteA by Yang Mi. And, oh my goodness me, hang on, I've done something with Move It here. Let me... This is poor. This is a shoddy day. Come on, there you go. Right, sorted. We are back down at ground level. Okay, yeah, the office construction siteA by Yang Mi or Yang Mai. Apparently they're doing a whole set of these. And so if you're looking to have like that slightly unfinished skyline in your city, they're going to have a whole bunch of assets that are going to really add to the flavour of your build. And factoids, because factoids, not only is a python able to eat a whole pig, wow, that's enough. I could stop there. But it is also able to fast for over a year at a time. I think after eating a whole pig, I think you'd be allowed to fast for a year. That's a lot of food all at once. Office construction siteA by Yang Mai. Today's asset of the day. And so we pull the camera back and we look lovingly over the environment and say, hey dudes, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen. It will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But what do I make of today's map? Well, aesthetically, it's a bit, isn't it? It's a bit, There's a lot more that could be done to it. Is it ugly? No. Is it inspiring? No. I've got to go 3 stars, but I'm going to go right at the bottom end. there's a lot that can be done into this just to bring it up to interesting. It's just not interesting, sadly. Detailing. A lot of trees on the road, and clustering of trees and lots of little grumbles here and there. Do you know what? I think I've got to go 2 stars. I'm going to go medium high 2 stars. Just little things. Just little things. Gameplay potential. Plenty of buildable space. Not really much water, but it's a desert map. However, if we had access to the sea as well, that would fix that problem. I'm going to go 3 stars, but I'm going to go towards the bottom end. Yeah, I'm just not inspired. Orheb Oasis, no next to by a Rev Official. Good to see Rev Official actually producing a no next to version. I'm assuming there is a next to version as well. But those of you that have got a broken next to, then you're all set to go. And that's a lot of cred can go to Rev Official for actually doing that. But for me, I won't be building on it. Right, okay, we've made it to the last 20 seconds, which means you're part of the 20 and out elite. I use the words of the day into the comments, score some population points just for fun. And I'll be back tomorrow with another map in the What's Map series. And I'll see you later on for on BonBonB 2 for Where on Earth Am I?